In our last video, we explored the several alignments of Route 66 through the city of St. Louis, over the Mississippi bridges, into town, and out west. Today, we will visit the original 1926 Route 66 out of the city and into Gray Summit. Our original 1926 Route 66 road headed west from Venice, Illinois, over the McKinley Bridge, along Northbridge Avenue, Lindell Boulevard, around Forest Park, and south to Highway 100 into the town of Maplewood. So today, we will continue our tour west about 30 miles on the 1926 alignment along Highway 100 down to the city of Gray Summit. We start at the intersection of McCausland Avenue and Highway 100, called Manchester Boulevard, or U.S. Bicycle Route 66 on Google Maps, and head towards the quiet town of Maplewood. There are a few old relics here, like the ghost signs on the side of Filoni's Italian restaurant. Started in 1916 as Filoni's Cafe, operated as a speakeasy during Prohibition. And further down the road, the 1924 Ozark Garage. That's at the corner of Blendon Place. When you enter the town of Maplewood, park at the Wedge, take a historic walk through town. And don't miss the old Maplewood Theater building. Built in 1926, seated 1,000 patrons, closed in 1967, converted to street-level retail shops. Also, the historic Cat's Drug Store. Used to have a giant neon cat on the corner. There are a few more sites here, but continue on Manchester west to Brentwood. Cross over Black Creek, headed to Brentwood. There's not much to see here from a Route 66 perspective, but up at the high school is an old restaurant called Carl's Drive-In. In 1918, this was a gas station, then evolved into a hot dog stand, and later known as the Good Food Drive-In. Anyway, hit by a tornado in 1959 and rebuilt into Carl's we have today. Continue in Manchester to the town of Rock Hill, founded in 1841. None of the old historic gas stations, garages, or cafes have survived, but there are two good sites to explore along Missouri Highway 100. First, just before Deer Creek on the right, this is the historic Trainwreck Saloon, the oldest continuously operated tavern in St. Louis. Built in 1890, it was the site of the 9 Mile House Lone Elm, offering hot and cold sandwiches, even had gas pump islands out front. Today it's a great place to stop for burgers and beer. Continue a little further west on Manchester, which is originally called the Old State Road. At McKnight Road is a new mobile station. At this intersection was the origin of town. Once had a post office, stagecoach, church, and a store. And also the oldest building in Rock Hill today, called the Fairfax House, built in 1841. 100 years later, the town moved it 1 block north up to avoid demolition. Continue west on Manchester to the town of Kirkwood. North Kirkwood Road is a historic intersection. Running west on Manchester is our original 1926 alignment. Running north-south is both historic 1926 Highway 61 and our bypass Route 66, which comes out of the Chain of Rocks Bridge and Interstate 270, bypassing St. Louis on the north. US 61 runs 1,400 miles alongside the Mississippi River, from the town of Wyoming, Minnesota, all the way down to New Orleans. Once called the Great River Road, but better known as the Blues Highway because of its long history tied to the Mississippi Blues. Most of the buildings in town have been razed. On the left behind Kirkwood Fence, a small gabled roof building called the Little House of Dogs Grooming Shop. This was once known as Dorflinger Realty, operated sometime before the 1940s. From here, you can turn south to meet up with the 1933 alignment to visit Kirkwood, or continue west on Manchester. But for now, let's continue west on our 1926 alignment to the town of Des Perez. Most of the original landmarks in Des Perez have been torn down. At Veneta Drive was the old 1910 general store. Today it's called Regions. Next block left, Macy's department store. This is the site of the 1940s Manchester Drive-In Theater, the first drive-in in St. Louis County. At one time held 900 cars. It closed in 1967. Another block or so on the right is our last surviving feature, the Village General Store and Village Bar and Restaurant. Stop in for one of the famous delicious hamburgers. Continue west on Highway 100, Route 66, about 4 miles to the town of Manchester. Pass over Interstate 270, then just past Highway 141 is a new City Hall building that opened in 2023. This replaced the old City Hall, and that was built in 1894. That's really all there is to see here. So continue further west, 3 miles to the town of Baldwin. Once again, none of our old Route 66 landmarks remain. Just before Grand Glaze Creek on your left used to be a historic brick gas station. You can still see the gabled roof canopy with solid brick columns up front over the gas pump island. Then about another mile on the northeast at the corner of Ballpark Drive is a historic marker for the James Ball Homestead, established in 1837. Head west on Highway 100 another 6 miles, past the town of Ellisville, and enter Wildwood. This all used to be open countryside, but we have some interesting, authentic Route 66 relics along the way. Once you pass over Hutchinson Road, our new alignment continues west along the highway. However, make the next left on Ruck Road. This is our original 1926 alignment. This is a 2-lane road lined with beautiful trees. It dead ends at the St. Louis Department of Transportation before it merges back onto Highway 100. So you got to make a U-turn, continue west on Highway 100, then merge south on Manchester Road. Once again, this is our 1926 alignment. It runs parallel to Highway 100. Past Village Hills Parkway, enter the community of Grover. And on the right is historic Larry's Tavern. This used to be the side of an old gas station. Continue west, another half mile to Etherton Road. The residential building on the left, that's a historic Rutgers house, built in 1879, also served as a general store, and later the local phone company and Wildwood City Hall. Across the street's a wooden structure, that's the site of the Wetterer blacksmith shop, owned by German immigrant Friedland Wetterer in 1865. Continue west about 2 miles to Pond Road. On the left is the Pond Inn, built around 1910, also called the Pond Hall, originally an old tavern and store. Across Pond Road is a historic Kern service station, built in 1925, owned by blacksmith John Kern, also had a wagon shop here before servicing automobiles. Later became a drugstore. Just ahead on the left is the Pond Texaco station. Has a western-themed facade, a flat panel on top to hide the gable roof structure behind. Another quarter mile on the left is a Big Chief Roadhouse. This was once called the Big Chief Cabin Hotel, listed in the National Register of Historic Places. Built in 1932, Spanish Mission Revival style design, 62 cabins, each with its own garage, restaurant, and service station along Route 66. Anyway, the restaurant closed in 1949, the cabins demolished in the 70s, but opened today as Big Chief Roadhouse. Continue on Manchester, cross over Highway 100 at Bowness Lane, turn south. This is our 1926 Manchester Road, called U.S. Bicycle 66. On your left, you'll find a residential building. This used to be the old Fox Creek Garage, opened in 1917 with one single bay, that expanded and became Scott's Pontiac dealership in 1927. Continue south, merge back onto Highway 100, another mile to reach what is called the Hollow, then turn left on Stovall Lane. This was once our original alignment. Up ahead on the left is Stovall's Grove Dance Hall and Saloon. Originally opened as a wooden structure in 1935, country music venue called the Stovall Tavern. If you continue on Stovall, you will dead end at the Wildwood Historical Society, and you meet up on the other side at Deer Creek Road, then merge back onto the highway. Go back to Highway 100, head southwest about a mile, turn right at Fox Creek Road. This is our 1926 alignment, now called Old Manchester Road. This wraps around back to Highway 100 at the Zion United Church of Christ, then continues west to Gray Summit, where we meet up with our more popular 1933 Route 66 alignment. There is not much to see on Route 66 from the Zion Church until you get into Gray Summit. So this ends this video, and please enjoy my next video as we explore the 1933 alignment out of St. Louis with many of the Route 66 landmarks we know today. Thanks for watching. Bye.